Welcome back, Buddha family. So today I'm going to show you how to make your own insecticidal soap. We're in the midst of summer. The insects are really thriving with this heat. So let's get them under control with a natural method. Very cheap and affordable. So first thing you're going to need is a sprayer or a mister. You can get creative. Anything is going to really work. I like these because I can pump it and then just go along. I got a pretty big garden, so this works well rather than squeezing a trigger every time. But whatever it is, a pump sprayer. Next thing you're going to want is some soap. I like the natural Castile soap. You don't use detergent. They come with a lot of other things in it that can really hurt your plant. So really stick with a natural, strict soap. I like the Castile soap, and it just so happens that this one has some peppermint into it, which I'm about to get to. So the soap, well, the way it works is it coats the insects, and these soft-bodied insects like aphids, spider mites, thrip, whitefly, they have soft exoskeletons, and the soap basically dissolves that exoskeleton, and they basically will suffocate. It also clogs any of their breathing pores, again, so that they suffocate. So this works really well. The other thing I like to use is some essential oils. Now what they do, they're not going to kill your insects, but what they do is the fragrance they emit really is a deterrent for a lot of insects. So my favorite two to use are peppermint and eucalyptus. Now, this soap already has peppermint, so I'm not going to use it this time. But if you were using just a regular one, you would use a peppermint essential oil. There's a lot of other kinds. Clove, lavender, rosemary, but in my research, peppermint is the #1 one. And then I really enjoy eucalyptus because it's not from around here, and a lot of things don't enjoy that fragrance. So enough talking. How do we do it? So basically what you're going to want to do is a tablespoon of soap per quart. Now this one's big, but I'm only going to use a quart. So first thing you want to do is add a little bit of water. That way you're not dumping it right into the bottom of the bucket. So I'll add a little water. This is my tablespoon. And now normally with the essential oils, there's a lot of different information on how many drops to put in. Always start small. So in 32 ounces, I'm going to do 5 drops of each of these. But like I said, my soap already has peppermint in it, so I'm going to not use the peppermint this time. I don't want to overdo it. So I just have to use my eucalyptus. I'm just going to put 5 drops in. If I was doing the peppermint, again, 5 drops. Now that the mixture is made, you'll want to top off and fill up your water to the correct amount. Mine was a quart. There we are. So now we got about a quart. I'm going to put my top on. And you don't want to shake this too much because it is soap, so it's going to get all frothy. But you just want to gently mix it up. And that's all there is to it. So now we're going to spray it. The most important thing I want to stress is that you have a lot of plants out there. They're all sensitive to different things. You never know what's going to have an adverse reaction. So when you're doing this for the first time, just try a little section of plant. Now here I am at my dahlia garden. No, this is not a dahlia, but obviously a squirrel planted us a type of winter squash. So it's here and I'm leaving it. So what I'm going to do is I got my spray set. You don't want a jet. You want a nice mist, just like this. And for the first time, I'm just going to tap leaf of the plant. There's one on the squash. And then I'll come over to my dahlias, and I'm just going to do a little bit. Just like that. So you have to leave that for a day. So if you are a first timer, you don't want to make a huge amount. You want to use whatever you mix that day. You don't want to store this. Now I've already done this, so I am going to use the rest of this, but I wanted to show you that if this is your first time, make a smaller amount and just do a few leaves of whatever plants you're going to do and make sure there's no adverse reactions. Come out the next day. If everything looks the same, then you're good to go. And the last thing I can't stress enough is that never, never, never do this in the morning or during the day with the heat. Because even if this is safe, the sun beating down on these leaves with a soap and an oil can really do some damage. So you want to do this in the evening or dusk where we are now. It's nice and cool. Tomorrow morning, midday, I'll come out and just make sure everything is legit. So again, very simple. Natural soap with no chemicals, a tablespoon per 32 ounces, and then 5 drops of 2 of your essential oils of choice. I use peppermint and eucalyptus. Mix it up, spray a few leaves, make sure you're good to go. And we are. So now you can see, I'm just going to pump this bad Larry up. Very important is if you have a vine plant like this, a lot of the insects live underneath. So you really have to get both sides. If you're doing a dahlia, you're really going to get underneath and shoot up. Because if you're just shooting from the top, you're just coating the top of the leaf and it's going to have no effect on anything underneath. And the only way this works is with direct contact. I hope you enjoyed it. Learned something. I hope you try it yourself. It'll definitely save you some money on insecticides or other things they have out there, which brings me to another point. Neem oil is a very common thing, but neem oil can actually be bad for beneficial bugs. So there's a lot of negative effects to certain things like neem oil, where these types of things are very natural. You do it yourself, and it's very good for other beneficials. You're really just targeting the pests. So thank you for tuning around.